On a rainy March afternoon, Francis Wayland Thurston received news of the death of his great-uncle, Professor Angel. After the funeral, he received a box containing Angel's notes and belongings. Among the items was a strange clay bas-relief depicting a monstrous creature with tentacles, bat wings, and an unsettling presence. Angel's notes contained accounts of a young artist named Henry Anthony Wilcox, who had brought the bas-relief to the professor. Wilcox described vivid dreams of an underwater cyclopean city and a colossal entity called Cthulhu. His dreams have become more intense in recent weeks, coinciding with outbreaks of hysteria in various parts of the world. Among Angel's documents, Thurston found an account of a meeting with Inspector Legrasse, a New Orleans police officer. Years earlier, Legrasse had led an expedition into the Louisiana swamp, where he discovered a bizarre cult performing grotesque rituals in honor of Cthulhu. The cultists were arrested, but their stories left Legrasse distraught. Legrasse had brought a statuette of the cult, similar to Wilcox's bas-relief. The figurine represented the same monstrous creature. Angel compared the artifacts and concluded that there was a connection between Wilcox's dreams and the cult's rituals. The revelation that there was a sect dedicated to Cthulhu deeply worried the professor. Angel's investigations led him to discover reports of outbreaks of mass hysteria and disturbing dreams in various parts of the world. These events coincided with Wilcox's dreams and the cult's rituals. The synchronicity of the events suggested the existence of a sinister force at work. Legrasse described how his team had encountered the cultists in the swamp, performing a horrific ritual. They sang songs in an unknown language and performed human sacrifices. The prisoners spoke of Cthulhu Fdane, a phrase that seemed to summon the sleeping creature. Angel realized that the cult was much older and more widespread than he imagined. Wilcox continued to have disturbing dreams, describing the sunken city of Relia in frightening detail. He spoke of gigantic monoliths and impossible architecture. Wilcox's visions became more intense and began to affect his mental health. He believed he was connected in some way to the sleeping entity. Angel interviewed a sailor named Castro who had been captured with the cultists. Castro revealed that the Cthulhu cult was global, with followers in various parts of the world. They believed that Cthulhu lay dormant in the depths of the ocean, waiting for the right moment to awaken and bring destruction to the world. Among Angel's documents, Thurston found an ancient manuscript that detailed the history of the Cthulhu cult. The manuscript mentioned ancient rituals and prophecies about the creature's return. Reading the manuscript left Thurston distraught, but he was determined to discover the truth. As Thurston delved deeper into Angel's notes, he began to have disturbing dreams of his own. He saw the sunken city of Relia and heard the deep voice of Cthulhu. The dreams became more intense and began to affect his sanity. Thurston found himself getting closer and closer to the horror his great-uncle had discovered. Thurston found the diary of Gustav Johansen, a Norwegian sailor who had survived an encounter with Cthulhu. Johansen and his crew found the sunken city of Relia, which had temporarily emerged from the ocean. They accidentally awakened the creature, which caused terror and destruction. Johansen described the desperate struggle to escape from Relia. The sight of Cthulhu caused absolute terror, and many sailors went crazy or threw themselves overboard. In an act of desperation, Johansen's ship collided with Cthulhu, forcing the creature to return to its dormant state. Few survived the encounter, and those who did were deeply traumatized. Thurston concluded that Cthulhu, although temporarily defeated, was not dead. He returned to his abysmal sleep, waiting for the right moment to awaken again. The knowledge of the cult and the certainty that terror could return at any moment weighed heavily on his mind. Thurston discovered that many governments and secret organizations were aware of the cult's existence and the threat that Cthulhu posed. They did their best to suppress any information about the creature, fearing the panic and chaos the truth could cause. He realized he was dealing with forces much greater than he had imagined. Thurston found evidence that the cult of Cthulhu was much older and more widespread than he realized. They had infiltrated various spheres of society, using their influence to ensure that Cthulhu remained dormant until the time was right. The cult's connections were deep and dangerous. While digging through old archives and hidden documents, Thurston uncovered a global conspiracy to keep the existence of Cthulhu a secret. The creature's followers were spread across the world, waiting for the right moment to perform the rituals that would bring Cthulhu back to life. The magnitude of the conspiracy was frightening. Thurston began to feel the weight of the knowledge he had gained. He knew that the truth about Cthulhu was dangerous, and that humanity's sanity was at stake. He began to question whether he should continue his investigations, or whether it would be better to leave the secret buried in the depths of the ocean. Thurston found one last clue, a letter written by Angel shortly before his death. In the letter, Angel warned about the danger of continuing to investigate Cthulhu and advised Thurston to give up. The letter was a desperate plea from a man who had seen the horror up close and knew the consequences of revealing the truth. Thurston faced a dilemma. Should he continue his investigations and risk his sanity, or should he give up and accept that some secrets are better left unrevealed? He knew that regardless of his choice, the terror of Cthulhu would continue to haunt humanity. In the end, Thurston decided that the truth needed to be known, even if it meant his own destruction. He compiled all the notes and evidence he had found and prepared to share his discovery with the world. He knew he was playing with incomprehensible cosmic forces, but he felt humanity needed to be prepared for Cthulhu's return. By the end of this dark and enigmatic story, we are left with the feeling that the ancient evil of Cthulhu is always lurking, patiently waiting for the right moment to throw the world into unimaginable chaos. Knowledge is a heavy burden, and perhaps it is better for human sanity that some secrets remain buried in the depths of time and the sea.